Okay, is this mic picking up okay? Is that good, Martin? Good? Okay, good. So, hi everyone, welcome to the 2017 AGM of Alt. There's an attendance sheet going around, so if you could make sure you sign that. And would like to note some apologies. Do you have those apologies for us, Marion?
Yeah, apologies we've had from Matt Lingard and Daniel Clark and Bella Abrams, Malcolm Ryan and Fiona Harvey.
Good. Do you need to note proxy votes at this stage?
Yes, so we've had 2 proxy votes submitted prior to the AGM, one for Matt Lingard in an individual capacity and one representing the University of West London. So we've got 2 proxy votes and Martin Weller will be voting for them on their behalf.
Thank you. So to move on to the approval of the minutes of the last general meeting. First of all, I'm looking for 2 people to act as tellers to count votes for us during the 2 volunteers.
Any volunteers for teller? Yeah, James, do you want to come and stand up, James,
Good.
so you can see the votes?
Can I have another teller volunteer?
You're going to have to count the votes. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks, Julie. So you should have copies of the minutes of the last meeting in your packs. If not, they're available online. So I'd like to ask for a proposer and a seconder to record these as a faithful account of the last meeting. Can I have a proposer?
I'll propose it.
So Sheila proposes. And a seconder, please. Shirley. Thank you. So are there any matters arising from the minutes of the last meeting? Sounds like a no, thank you. So moving on to agenda item 4, the annual report and accounts. Usually Daniel Clark, our treasurer, would report on the accounts, but he couldn't make it today, so Sheila's going to report on his behalf. Please come in at the back if you want to. I scared them away. So this has been a big year for Alt. We've come up with a new annual report, and I'd just like to say it was a real pleasure working on that process, and I think particularly compliments to Marion and the team for how they conducted that process in a very kind of open manner. And I think the annual report that's come out is a very interesting document. Often these documents can be quite dry, but I think the use of diagrams in there and the way it's been structured and the open, transparent nature and the sort of community input to that report has made it a very interesting document and something that we can all kind of buy into. So, with that in mind, I'm going to invite Sheila to do to report on the accounts.
Okay, thanks very much. And I just want to say before we start a big thank you to Daniel Clark. He's doing a fantastic job as our honorary treasurer. I think it's probably one of the, well, certainly something that I don't think I would be capable of, but he does a fantastic job along with the rest of the team. So thank you to Daniel, and I'm going to try and do his report justice by really not saying very much. So I think, as Martin mentioned, this has been quite a big year for us. It was our first operating year as a charitable incorporated organisation. And we've been really pleased with the way that has gone, particularly in terms of our finances. Our aims were to, make sure that the organisation was sustainable through its core activities. That's by our income through our membership, through CMALT certification and through conferences. And we've done that. So I think that puts us in a very positive position for the future and makes us very stable, and most importantly it ensures that we're independent. We're not depending on any external funding to do our core business, so that as an organisation that is really important for us, and hopefully for you as our members as well. You can take confidence for that. I think again over the last couple of years, as Daniel's highlighted in his report, it's been quite stable for us financially in terms of operating costs, so that's been really good. This year, if you do look at the figures, you'll notice there is a very small deficit, but we're absolutely fine with that. In terms of our overall operating budget, it's very small. It's well within the tolerances of what the organisation can deal with. So overall, we are very pleased with how the organisation is running in terms of the changes it's gone through and becoming a CIO, and I think we've got a very stable foundation for the future. I also need to report from our external auditor. As you'll see in the report, that they have accounted that our accounts are timely and fair, and there were no matters arising from that, and the audit is complete. I'm just going to double check with Maren. Is there anything that I've missed there? No? I think so. If anyone has any questions, I'm not happy to take them. Well, Marion can take that. But you know, if there are any concerns, then please raise them now. Okay, brilliant. So I think in that case, I would just like to propose then that the AGM recommend that the annual report and accounts be approved by the meeting today. So if we could have someone to... What's that? A second? James second that.
And now we're going to go through a full vote.
Yes, we are, Corey, are we? Good. So can I ask for votes for the motion that the annual report and accounts be approved?
So yeah, 2 hands if you've got 2 votes, and Martin Weller, you count as proxy votes as well.
Count 3 times, don't I?
You count 3 times. Have you counted on the stage and behind the stage?
No. Come on over there.
I'm 3 votes.
How many votes for?
31.
31. And you've counted the 2 proxy votes?
No, 33.
33. They're voting for.
Okay, votes against?
That's a 0.
And any abstentions?
Just
So that motion is passed. Thank you. The next item is to appoint an auditor for the 2017-2018 accounts. So I'll propose this from the Chair that David Cadwallader and Co. Limited Accountants of Chesterton be appointed as auditors again. I'd like a seconder for that motion. Sheila? You don't need to vote on that. That's great.
Unless anybody wishes to put it to a full vote and take the approval.
Chair's approval. Thank you. So now over to Maren for a verbal report on the past year and the honorary life membership. Thank you, Maren.
Thank you, Martin, and welcome to everyone. It is a real special year, I think, to be reporting to the association. And the first thing I wanted to start with, and I wanted to mention in particular, is how much the new strategy has really shaped what we've been doing as an association. And I think the annual report is a great example of us actually making the most of our strategy, both the visual thinkery and obviously the ideas behind it and the membership behind it, and how we've put action to our words in making that happen and in putting that into practice. So I think that is a really important milestone for the association. Next year in February will be my 10th year since I started working for ALP and my 6th year as Chief Executive. And I think I've never seen the organisation more vibrant and bigger than it has been this year. So it's a really good time for us. But obviously there are still real challenges even when you do have such an engaged community. And one of the challenges this year that I do want to point out has been our journal Research and Learning Technology. So many of you will know what's happened with the journal, that our publisher, Co-Action Publishing, was sold to Taylor & Francis over Christmas, and that we were very unhappy with that change, and we didn't want to go back to the kind of commercial open access model. We wanted to stick where our journal's home and heart is, which is fully open access and within a smaller publishing community. And I think in correlation with our members and in consultation with the board and under the leadership of Neil Morris, who chairs our editorial board, we have moved the journal into our own ownership in partnership with Open Academia. And the journal has now been operating again for 2 months, and it has already published 8 articles, and it's starting to be, I think, taken off life support and starting to be able to breathe on its own. You all know how hard we work to make impact widen for research. Our journal is one of the longest established, and the open access model has drastically increased its readership. So being not operational for months at a time was, I think, a really big issue that the association has faced this year. And we've worked incredibly hard to make it happen. But no one's worked harder than the editors of the journal. And I do want to specifically mention them because I think they have made a huge contribution. And I think starting with Gail Wilson, who is in Australia, and I'm hoping, Gail, if you're watching, or I'm hoping you're sleeping, but at any rate, if you're watching this later, we give you a big thank you, and also Fiona Smart, who's not with us today. And we also want to say thank you to Leslie and to Amanda and to Peter, and also to one of our editors who stepped down earlier this year, Peter Reid, Carlos, who was at the University of Leeds, or is at the University of Leeds, had to step down, but did a huge amount of work for us. Without our editors, the journal couldn't function, and I think we're now looking forward to, in conjunction with the editorial board and other organisations, to work in partnership to really build a very sustainable future. Becoming independent with the journal is one of the key achievements, I think, for the association this year. So I hope we'll see great things from our publishing arm. And also, I think the AltC blog is going from strength to strength. And on behalf of Anne Hall, who is the editor for the entire editor team, I meant to say a big thank you to 2 editors who are coming to the end of their term. And that is Howard Scott and Stella Ebugizi. And I really hope that their contributions will help make the blog go from strength to strength, but we also want to say thank you for all the work that they have done. We've actually had more than 20 expressions of interest to join the editorial team for the blog going forwards, and I think that is a real achievement for Anne and her team. So Anne can't be with us in person, but Anne, if you're watching, thank you very much for all your hard work on behalf of everyone here. We really appreciate it, and I think the blog will be ringing with reviews and posts following the conference. And there's one more group of people who I want to say a thank you to, and those are people who are partly in the room but also watching from all around the country, and that is my own staff team, which is this year very small indeed, as we're here at the conference. And I want to give a big shout out to Tom Palmer, who's sitting over there and looking at sign-in sheets. So thank you very much, Tom, for all the hard work you do. Who's leading CMOLD and membership, I think, in an exemplary fashion, and also hiding behind the speakers are Martin Hoxie, who, as my deputy, helps us shape the organisation and leads on innovation and technology in all things conference delivery. But also I want to mention those members of staff who can't be here face-to-face and in person. Our wonderful events manager, Jane Marsh, who masterminded the conference and can't be here due to ill health. And also our finance officer, Jen Frankel, who's been instrumental in getting our financial situation operating so smoothly. And last but definitely not least, I want to give a big shout out to Christina Peterson, who runs our communications and looks after our administration. So I think I'm very fortunate indeed to have colleagues who are so committed to the work of the association and who work tirelessly in conjunction with members. I really, really appreciate their contribution. But now, the most fun part, for me at any rate, is that Martin Weller and I will, in a moment, get to make an award that we've been looking forward to quite a few weeks now. I did want to make a few personal remarks before I hand over to Martin to talk a little more about our honoree and give his observations. But I think when I started working in learning technology, I quickly found that there were a lot of role models to follow, and very amazing women that I got to work with, both in terms of people within ALT and within the sector. But I think few people have been so inspirational for me personally, who've really shown the way how you can walk the walk and talk the talk and put your values into practice. So for me in particular, as an individual, this is a very meaningful award. But the work that we're celebrating today goes beyond what we've done in learning technology and beyond what we've done as an association. It crosses all sectors, and really helps the most disadvantaged and those without a voice, learners and teachers who wouldn't have someone else to champion them. So I think with that I'm going to hand over to Martin Waller to give his observations and then announce the award.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so I've known, I have to keep it a surprise, you won't guess who it is. So I've known this person for about 10 years, I think, through blogging and stuff back in the early days of EduBlogs. And I think what I admire most about her, there's lots of things, is that unlike a lot of us in EdTech, who talk quite a good game but don't do much, she kind of really gets stuff done, and I think that's kind of really exemplary, and across a wide range of really interesting topics, and she's been a kind of real inspiration to a lot of us. And she's also a really nice person, which I think goes a long way. So the award this year goes to Josie Fraser.
I also got chocolates. I'm going to say something, but I've been told to keep it really, really brief, so I will do. I've been forewarned. I am so overwhelmed and honoured to get this award. It literally means I don't have to do anything ever again now. I can just give up. I am obviously disappointed that there's no tiara, but one day that will happen, I'm sure, for me. I spent the first 5 years of my career basically telling people technology is coming, it is going to change everything about your world, it's going to change everything about how we work, learn, play, meet our partners, everything about everything. And then I spent the last 5 years of my career saying, you know what, that happened and we weren't ready for it, and what, you know, we're not ready for it now, everything's changed, we've not sorted it out. So it is kind of my own fault that I'm now working at central government, and my job is to try and sort that out. And the reason why I think I've been so successful in my career is very much down to the community and the association of ALT, because ALT's been here for me since I started as a baby EdTech, and I was in an interview pretending I knew what a VLE was, and has seen me right through to now. And the community has been an amazingly warm, generous, inspiring one to belong to. I love being able to spend time with everybody here and get to see everybody. So I'm really pleased to be here in person today. Thank you very much.
Right, so on to the next agenda item as I hand back to Martin Waller.
Thank you. So the next item is elections to trustees vacancies. And we're doing okay for time, so I think we've got time for them to come up and say a few words and introduce themselves. So to announce the results of the election of a vice chair of the association, who will become chair in September 2018 and president in September 2019. And Nicola Whitton was elected unopposed. So congratulations, Nicola. Are you there? You can come up on stage. Okay. I will also announce the others through while Nicola comes on. So we've also elected 2 individuals to serve for 3 years as trustees of the ALT from September 2017, and that's Elizabeth Charles and Peter Bryant. So congratulations to them. If you'd like to come up and say hello.
Don't worry, I won't say many words. Just a very quick thank you to everybody who voted.
And I'm really, really looking forward to working with everybody, particularly Sheila, Maren, Martin, the other trustees. And I think the first thing to work on would be to try and get tiaras for all trustees and honorary life members.
It's okay, it's on the list.
Congratulations.
You're welcome to say.
Oh, thank you. Offering me a microphone, that's a really dangerous thing. Thank you very much to everyone who voted for me. I think it's really important that the voice of the whole sector is represented through this association. It's a really powerful thing to have that. It's a really powerful thing that we do here anyway, which is share all of this stuff amongst each other and make it available to everyone else. And if we can continue doing that, that would be a really excellent thing. So thank you.
Can't wait for my hug. I too wish to thank everybody who voted for me, and I'm really looking forward to contributing on this one. So thank you very much.
Congratulations. I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you. Welcome.
Okay, good. So that closes the meeting. But before we do so, I'd like to thank some trustees who are coming to the end of their term. Fiona Harvey should have been here today but couldn't make it, so it should have been her chairing this meeting. She would have done a much better job than I'm doing. So thanks very much to Fiona, who finishes her term as president this year. Thanks also to Malcolm Ryan. I know Matt Lingard, I think he's watching online.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt. And I think Alistair Clark is here, is he?
Do you want to
Do you want to come up, Alistair? We have gifts. So thank you very much to all those retiring.
So as we thank the outgoing trustees, I just wanted to add another note of thanks to all of you for coming. As you can see, we've managed to organise such an exciting conference programme that not that many members could come here, but it is very valued that you are here and that you're participating in our AGM.
Thank you.
Hopefully, Alistair will leave us with some of his words after his 6-year term.
Thank you very much.
I'll say very little, but thank you very much. And this is just great because I can write my novel. and you're all going to be in it.
And with that, we close the meeting. Is that correct?
We do close the meeting formally, but I just actually spotted one of our journal editors in the audience, and we did bring a present along, so we will award that in a moment and say thank you.
So thanks for coming, everyone, and see you at the gala dinner.
Definitely. See you this evening. Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.